When you meet a new person and you want to get to know them, you spend time with them, you talk to them, you ask them questions. You spend a lot of time and effort really getting to know them. How many of us are actually spending time getting to know ourselves? That's a pretty important step on the path to enlightenment. Now, on the path to living a heart-centered life, there is this amazing experience that you're going to end up having, and it's called self-knowledge. It's knowledge of what you are, not who you are. For a long time, you've been living this life that is just your limited knowledge. It's usually based on a lot of the programming that we've had most of our life. You know, we're told that we're born, we live, we go to school, we learn, we should get married, we should have families, we should work, we grow old, and then we die. That's the limited knowledge that most of us have been living with all our lives. But there is another type of knowledge that is even more expansive, and this is what I really want to talk to you guys about today. So there's that limited knowledge, and it's usually based on our ego. But then there is this higher knowledge that's based on the universal mind. The universal mind is something that we are also a part of. We are spiritual, energetic beings wearing a beautiful meat suit. The interesting part about all of this, that higher knowledge is really not up there or out there. It is actually within us. And so when we take the time to actually sit down and get to know ourselves, we will discover this knowledge about who we are. And it will definitely change your life, because I can attest that the time that I took in peace, quiet, and solitude, I discovered some amazing things about myself and other people. Now, one of the ways to access this knowledge, of course, is through self-observation via meditation. Meditation is a way to go within, still the mind, and actually study your mind. You study your thoughts. You see patterns. And from those patterns, you'll start to see the behaviors that have kept most of us back for most of our lives. A prime example of how your higher mind works is like this. Say, for instance, you have a problem and you want to solve the problem. So if you want to get the best solution, you need to go to the highest point of your mind. If the problem doesn't feel solved within itself, that means you're still using your limited mind. Whenever you're using your higher mind and you get into your self-knowledge, you'll have the proper answers and solutions to your problems, because you're accessing higher information. So when you have a problem and you reach a solution, you know that the solution is from your higher mind, mainly because the solution is solved, you feel good, you can look back and see the difference, and you're moving forward. Just from observing myself and people, I've come to this awareness that a lot of the problems that we have is because we're really not aware of what we are. Okay? We're not aware of how powerful our minds are and how we can connect. We've had thoughts over and over and over that we've actually embedded in our subconscious. And that is why it's very difficult for a lot of us to get out of patterns in our lives. When we start to access our higher mind, when we get to know who we are, then we start to break the patterns. We start to access information where we sit back and we actually look at what we're actually doing. Taking the time to access our higher minds and our higher self is actually putting us in direct connection with the universal mind. So you actually begin to start creating along with it. And when you are dealing with other people from your higher mind, you are actually elevating them. So that's why it's really important that you begin a practice of meditation, of stilling your mind. And there are different techniques that you can use to get to that place. And so in the next couple of videos, we're going to talk about different ways to meditate, to access the higher mind, and to get that juice flowing so you actually start making better decisions in life, living even more broadly, and expanding your consciousness. Just remember that self-observation, taking the time away from everything, getting to know yourself, leads to self-knowledge, to what you really are. And also that when you are using your higher mind, guys, you're actually using your power. Live in awareness, live in spirit, live in love, because that is the divine life. See you guys next time.